What's up, everybody? A little bit of a different background today. I was listening to a podcast. I normally don't listen to podcasts, but I was listening to a podcast on the way home for a reason. Somebody told me I should listen to the podcast. Um, the person who made the podcast sent me a message saying I should listen to it for my shout out in the podcast, which I find laughable. So strap in, get your popcorn, put a seatbelt on. It's hobby beef time. I was planning on doing an episode today that was a positive story, so I'll get to that in the end. But now we have some stuff to air, stuff I was never even going to talk about because it's not what I do. Instead, I send DMs to people and say, "Hey, by the way, this is something that can be construed in an odd way, and maybe you want to add a little something to it." Doesn't mean they have to do anything. And my intention was never to come out and do this. I mean, I make videos and try to avoid the appearance of impropriety, especially when you're dealing with sponsors and whatnot. But somebody who's done 1,000+ episodes now, including some auction content, I will tell you this. Anytime I spoke about something that I owned a similar card or owned that card, I said I owned that card. I mean, I did content for Collectible and talk about Joe Montana 10. At times when I owned it and said, "Hey guys, you all know I own this card. It's trading too high. It's trading too low, etc., etc. Hey guys, I own this Michael Jordan." The auction content's an interesting thing, right? So let's cut to it. This morning I went on IG and I saw a reel. Adam Reel 27 guy. Reel 27 guy. Reel with an REE because he makes reels, I guess. He does a lot of reels. He and Jay Lee, who I also love. I love you both. He calls me a friend in the video. You guys are friends. It's all friends, 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 friends. Friends such that I will send you a DM instead of talking about you in a podcast. Now I have to respond. And say, "Hey, here's what I'm thinking. Let's chat about it." Okay, chat. So anyway, I get on a reel, and he's doing a reel for alt. I do a reel for alt, and he is showing a Kobe Superfractor 1/1 from 2005 finest. Now, if you look at the checklist on that year, there are multiple Superfractors from that year. Checklist says 6. This is a nice one. It's a gold one. It's gold 1/1. Adam owns one. He owns one of the other Superfractors. He owns a white one. It's a PSA 6. He's bought it. There was a public comp on it. It sold at Golden. So I watched the video and I was expecting, because he's talking about the alt auction, that when you talk about one of the 2005 1/1s, you will say, "Here's the comp for it. Here's the one that sold. Here's, by the way, guys, it's mine." Now, mine's the worst card. Mine's a PSA 6. It's a white. So I expect this one to sell more. And by the way, you can look this up. It sold for 48.6, blah, blah, blah. So I watched the whole reel, and the comps that were given were 2 LeBron 1/1 Superfractors that sold for $300,000 and $700,000. So I sent him a message and I said, "Dude, maybe you want to talk about this, like that you own one, and mention you own the similar card, and maybe talk about the comp that it was $48,000 and that there are multiple of these." And he wrote back and says, he does the best that he can, and the 6 and whole 9 yards. And I said, "Okay, fine, leave it." I didn't bring up to him that he just did an auction reel for REA where he highlighted the Michael Jordan champ PMG. I think it was an 8.5. Of all the cards in that REA auction, we're talking about like multi-million-dollar auction with the Baltimore News Babe Ruth that he could talk about, I guess, because he probably doesn't have one of those. He talks about a card he owns, the same card. He has it a BGS 9. It's on his page. He doesn't hide it. But never once in the reel does he say, "Hey, by the way, guys, this card at one point in time, it sold for more than the red." It doesn't even say, "Hey, guys, you know what? I just want to make sure I own one of these." Don't have to. And here's what's fun, right? So I send the DM because I don't want to do this. I don't want to have this. Is stupid. It's hobby drama. It's stupidity, right? So instead, I send him a DM. Figure, hey, you'll deal with it. So I listen.
And these are the DMs that I got. This morning I woke up to 2 messages. One of them, the first of them was from
DM.
Okay, my Instagram has to work or I cannot read the messages. Sorry. Hold on one sec, guys.
Hold on one sec.
So
great
one
drama
message
here.
that I got today was from Cage Lawyer.
That's me.
And Cage Lawyer said,
Cage Lawyer
you didn't want to mention that there are 2 superfractors of the Kobe 2005 in your alt video and that you own the other one? Question mark. Lots of great info in the video.
Great info.
Seems weird to leave that out.
Seems weird to leave it out. Pretty straightforward.
I love Cage. I consider Cage a friend.
A friend.
I think this is a weird question.
It's a weird question.
What am I supposed to do in that situation?
I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. Make a video about any other card. Holy cow, what a novel idea. You're doing a video about Alt's auction. Is that the only card in it? No, it's the only card you own one similar to. I listened to an hour-long podcast about how he's an honest person. He's the greatest person on earth. We're friends. Honest person. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he did with the best of intentions. But don't give me the damned if you do, damned if you don't crap. You're not damned if you do it about any other card. Did Alt come to you and specifically say you want to do it about that card? You pick that card? Well, then if that's what happened, you say to him, hey, guys, I happen to own a very similar card. And the comp on it is lower than the $700,000 LeBron and the $300,000 LeBron that I'd like to comp this card to. So it might be odd if I do a video about this. Maybe I can, because I'm supposed to be bringing attention to the whole auction, maybe I can pick another card in your auction and talk about that. Hey, REA, there's a ton of cards you're selling. Maybe I can talk about one I don't own. So to answer your question, what am I supposed to do in that situation? Say no. Or pick another card to talk about. Why that's such a difficult moral conundrum, I just don't know. And on to the actual topic that I wanted to talk about today. Okay? The fun, the interesting topic. Because the hobby has some great things going on. The stuff that we should be focused on, not this stupidity. I may not even post this. I'm so angry I even have to talk about this. Should have avoided all this. That's the point of a DM instead of making hit pieces and talking about people. But hey, what are you supposed to do? It's an odd question. It's an easy answer, man. You make a lot of reels. If you're going to make one about a card you own, say it's a card you own, or you own one very similar to it. If you're going to make one about an auction and you happen to own the same card, maybe offer to make a reel about a different card. I don't know, guys. Listen, it is what it is. Anyway, so the good side of the hobby. Somebody sent me this post. I want to try to figure out exactly who it was who sent this to me. Collectomaniac sent this to me. But guys, before it deletes, take a look over at Cardboard Preacher. This is a fun story, right? The story may delete, and this guy's not looking for credit. He basically sold a whole bunch of Drew Bledsoe cards for a couple bucks, and the person didn't pay. So you looked him up. It says the guy had a unique name, so I thought I had a good shot at locating him. To my horror, I found an article dated within the past few days indicating the man with the same name had his 39-year-old wife pass away suddenly, leaving the man and his 2 kids behind. I hope it wasn't him. And then he posts the eBay message with a guy saying, hey, I'll pay. My wife just passed away. I know there's excuses on eBay, but, this is true. And this guy, of course, asked him, you're a Drew Bledsoe collector. So Cardboard Preacher just so happened to buy a whole storage unit that had 7,000 Drew Bledsoe cards in it, binders of it, that are going to be shipped to this guy. Not because the guy asked, not because the guy, was looking for charity, whatever it is, but because there are people in the hobby who hear a story like that and say, all right, sending him a binders of Drew Bledsoe cards, that's not going to change anything. It's not going to change the factual scenario. It's not going to make life any better. But it's the least I could do at this moment, right? He's a Drew Bledsoe collector. He probably won't even look at the package. But in a month or 2 or 3 or 6, there'll be something he gets to look at that maybe helps that grieving process a little bit. And that's what I want to highlight. That's the stuff that the hobby is built on. I messaged this guy. I'm not going to tell you what I messaged Cardboard Preacher. But basically thank him for this. And now I'm thanking him on here. You guys should send them a message too. And thank him. This is community. This is hobby. This is the good stuff, right? We can focus and do content on hobby beefs and hobby squabbles and conflicts of interest and the appearance of impropriety and all this other garbage. Not enough attention is shined on the good stuff that happens. And think about being a part of a community. Think about helping out a stranger. Think about the time of year. Think about what this person's going through. You can see it all the time. This is obviously an extreme story, and he's probably, doesn't want me even, talking about it. But, there are holiday racks, random acts of kindness and pay it forwards and secret Santas and all that other fun stuff that's out there. We talk about 10Xing the hobby. We talk about doing stuff like that, right? Printing, more cards and even content. That's not 10Xing the hobby. It's making the hobby a community that looks out for one another, a hobby that, is a place where you want to go to escape real life, to, when you got something else going on, sometimes something tragic, something horrible. This is a hobby you can turn to take your mind off of that and escape the drama. And I apologize because here I am coming into the first 10 minutes of this and adding drama to it. And that shouldn't be what happens. But my name got thrown into a podcast, so I got to clear it. And the funny part about it is, man, that's why you send a DM. Anyway, it is what it is. I love Adam. Adam, my suggestion to you, say no. If you really find yourself in that moral dilemma, that moral conundrum, this is any other content creator who's out there. If you find yourself in a situation where what's being asked of you by someone paying you might give off that appearance, might put you in the position where I'm, quote, damned if I do, damned if I don't, well, then just don't. Say no. Don't make the video that puts you in the damned if you do, damned if you don't position. And if you really are getting all of those DMs, what does that say? Take it from me. As of tomorrow, I will not have a hobby sponsor. I will not have a single dollar coming in. Let me know if the content changes. I hope it doesn't. I hope it's honest. I hope it's been honest the whole time. But, the issue raised is a fun one, and you can kind of listen to the podcast. I'm now shining an even bigger spotlight on Adam's content. But listen, it's an interesting space. We should all be having fun. We should all be buying cards we love. When I woke up this morning and saw that, the intention was not to have a back and forth tete-a-tete about this. But I just found it hilarious that was the way it went. I got this message. What does Cage want me to do? Do the right thing. Sometimes that means do nothing and say no to the dollar. And my friends, I'm going to keep it short and sweet today. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Adam, send me a message, man. I'm here to talk to you all the time. Love you.